Hi guys, Leah here with Ode to Paper. Thank you so much for joining me today. So for my Pinspiration this month, I chose a layout that I had found on Pinterest, and it is from scrapbook.com from March of 2014, and it looks like the creator was called Marnell. Very cool with these really cool triangles. And looks like I forgot to add the photo in here, but I will add a link down below to the pin itself where I got it from. So these cool 4 triangles, I've already cut them out. I'm using paper from my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for the month of March, which was Paige Evans of Bloom Street, as well as Cartabella's Farmhouse Market. So I'm going to use Farmhouse Market for this page in particular. And I had added a large doily, and this paper that I'm matting my photos on right now is a sticker paper. So it's a wood green sticker paper that I had picked up at the dollar store. There was 6 different colors, I think, and 3 sheets of each color. So this green really goes well with the green in the collection, and I love the wood green. So I'm just going to use it to mat both of my photos. In the sketch, there are 2 photos. There's a doily behind each one, and also another layered paper. I don't go with 2 doilies. I just go with the one large one, just trying to make the sketch my own. So I've used, the basic layout, what side of the page the photos go on, and the triangles. And everything else I've pretty much made my own. So I get these triangles sort of where I think I want them, and then I move them. I place the doily down, trying to figure out, at this point, I was going to try and figure out how to cut the doily so I could get it behind both photos. Aha, there's the sketch, and I will still have it linked for you below. But I wanted my photos to be on the doily, both of them. I went ahead and splattered the background cardstock, which is just a vanilla kind of creamy cardstock. I don't know where it's from. It's got a linen texture to it. Yeah, no name on it or anything, but I splattered it with my Tattered Angels Iridescent Gold, as well as the Distress ink in Spun Sugar. Now, I also inked all of my edges of my paper in Spun Sugar, as well as the background sheet. I don't know if you can't see it too well in the video, but anyways, that just created a nice splattering on the background so it wasn't so plain. And to line up my arrows, my triangles, I'm going to use my T-square ruler to make sure that all of the points land in the same place. And I'm going to start gluing them down, but what I do is glue them down. I start at the top, and then I go to the bottom one. So I'm also taking a look at the space between the top of the sheet and the top triangle, and the bottom of the sheet and the edge of the bottom triangle. So, and by making sure that all of my points line up, so I'll put this down, and then I'm looking to line up those 2 points with the 1 point in the top triangle. I don't know if that makes any sense. And then with the space in between is where I'm going to fit those other 2 triangles. And this allows me to space them out properly between each other. Now what happens is I get that that little drawer one, the second to last one, down and end up having to move it. So I'm not going to totally push it down because I know it may not be in the right place. So I use that to determine where the second one goes, and then I can move the third one to properly space it out. So it does stick down. I didn't push it down, but it does stick itself down there. The good news is it didn't wreck my paper too much, which is great. I'll add some fresh adhesive just to make sure it stays down. But generally that works very well, and it worked out really well. Very nice and straight, and all the points line up, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm also going to put this doily down so that it overlaps a little bit, hangs off the edge a little bit. I will trim it down after, but it does end up holding both of my photos in place, and you can still see a bit of the doily underneath coming out from the edges. So I'll just decide where I want to put that. Finish gluing it down. I'm going to cut off the excess here. And then I can get my photos down where I want them. And yeah, just like that. That's pretty much how they go. I do overlap the top one over top of the bottom a little bit, but there's a little bit of headspace there to work with, so it's not such a big deal. Again, this is my daughter and her group of friends from university. They're all engineering students, and they get along really well. The top photo is Paige and her best friend, Alyssa. And they actually graduated the same day from the same high school, and they weren't really friends in high school. They didn't become friends until they went to university, which was really nice. So I'm using I believe that's a Martha Stewart punch. It's a little butterfly punch, and I'm just using the scraps of that green wood grain paper to cut some butterflies, and that's going to tie in that green across the page so that it's not just, I mean, it's in parts of the paper, but that paper itself, so that it's not just matting the photos, it's also in other parts of the layout. So I'll get those down. I'm going to pull out the puffy stickers from Farmhouse Market, and I end up pulling off that little puffy sticker with the 3 drawers on it, and I'm going to place that underneath the bottom photo. And I also pull out 2 other ones. So I pull out one of the flower clusters and then the hanging lamp that has a ribbon and flower in it. And I'll use those. I'm also pulling out the frames and tags package. Now I ended up with 2 packages of those. I'm not sure how I managed that, but so I'm going to pull apart a frame and use part of that, as well as 2 small tags, a label that says Cherished, and that's going to be my title. And then I'm just going to use also a little circle die cut that just has like an embroidery hoop. Oh yes, that flag. I pulled that out too, that little banner flag. So I'm going to get those all inked up. I cut the frame and actually layer it underneath the embellishment cluster that I create with the tags and the flag and the little round piece. So I'm looking at the chipboard. I don't actually use any of the chipboard. So here's the frame. I'll cut that out. And what I'm doing is just I'm going to layer things together so that it looks like it's an already made embellishment cluster. Yep, and that's pretty much where it goes as well. So I will get those down. Now, once I get those down, then I have a naked tag hole. But I cover that up with that little round die cut, and all works out perfectly. So it's time to start gluing things down, and I will get my photos down. Now I do have that other die cut sitting there with the flowers that I don't end up using. It goes back in the package. I'm going to overlap that a little bit, and I'm going to put down my cluster. But I want to layer that frame underneath, so I do end up doing that. It's the same paper as that drawer paper, the second one up from the bottom. So it just kind of pulls that a little bit farther, not necessarily across the page, but just a little bit farther out from that triangle. And there's the drawer puffy stickers. So I'll stick those down, and of course I'm looking at them and they're crooked. But I added liquid glue, so there's no change in them now. They're there to stay. I'm going to add that lamp with the flowers and ribbon on it just underneath that cluster. And then I'm going to create a little cluster up by the title as well. I'll add my butterflies. I'm going to use that puffy flower cluster, push it down there, and then I have to, in order to overlap the title label with those on top of that flower puffy, I'm going to have to kind of bridge the other side of the label with some foam so that it doesn't sag. So I'm going to get that down and glue down the butterfly up in that corner. So when I bought this collection, I also bought the brad pack, the sticky brads that go with it, and you can see them there. They also have some chipboard stickers. Again, I did not use those. I actually went very light on the embellishments with this layout, but it's so pretty. Like, I wanted the pictures and the paper to do the talking. I didn't want to overload it. I wanted it to be simple and elegant looking, and I really find that these colors lend to that. So yeah, I get those butterflies down. I really like those as an addition. Um, and I'm going to place 3 groups of 3 of those adhesive brads. So I put one set by the title, one set by that large cluster in the center, and then the other one down at the bottom of that right-hand photo. So I will include links to everyone else that participates in this collaboration down below. I'll also have a link to the pin that I used to complete this layout, the one I used for inspiration. And I will be back next month again with another layout for Pinspiration 2021. I do really enjoy this collaboration. I did it last year as well. And I really enjoy it. This year I decided I'm doing all scrapbook layouts, but that's okay. Some of them are going to have mixed media, some of them are going to have cut files. You never know what you're going to find. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you again soon with another layout. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.